Hello, my name is Stacy Borboa-Peterson. I'm the Director of Student Diversity and Inclusion at the University of North Dakota. I join you today as we recognize and acknowledge Indigenous Peoples Day. It is an honor and a privilege to introduce Dr. Russ McDonald, an enrolled member of Spirit Lake Nation, the United Tribes Technical College president, and a University of North Dakota alum, who will share prayer and honor song in celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day.
Hello, friends and relatives. We shake all your hands with a good heart. We say good morning to you. I want to thank the University of North Dakota for asking me to do a song and a prayer on behalf of the virtual conference that's occurring. And with that, we'll go ahead and start. The song is, the translation it is, we're asking our grandfather, our father to come and help us. Oh ma ke ayo hey, 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 tokashana wakatanka, oh ma ke ayo hey, oh ma ke ayo hey, oh ma ke ayo hey. Oh Takashana Ate Wankataka, we come before you in thanksgiving for this day and thanksgiving for the many blessings. We thank you for being with us, and we ask blessings upon all of us throughout the land, that you put your blessing upon us, that you put your protection upon us during this unprecedented time, that you help us to adhere to safety and precautions on behalf of one another. We pray that the gathering that's being held on behalf of the virtually, that your blessing be upon all those that are gathered, that our hearts and minds, our souls will be open to what you have for us today. We pray that you continue to give us direction, that you continue to put things in place that will help us to fulfill your will for us. We pray that you watch over us, that you watch over the University of North Dakota, the North Dakota University system, all the tribal colleges and universities here in North Dakota and across the lands. We pray that you help us all to remember science and remember what knowledge you've given us in order to take care of our students, and so that everything will be good for us. We pray that a special protection be upon all of us, that this illness, this coronavirus, will go around us, will go over us, or will pass over us, and that we will be safe. And that we pray that you'll continue to bless us in our efforts to build leaders, to focus in our future leaders through higher education. Oh, Madakulas, all my relatives.
Thank you, Dr. McDonald. That was beautiful. I'm now joined by Keith Malater, American Indian Support Specialist and Advisor with Student Diversity and Inclusion. We're here today to unveil the land acknowledgement for the University of North Dakota. Prior to COVID, we had great plans of a celebration, a recognition, an acknowledgement, and a thank you to all of those who helped us through the process. And COVID had different plans, I guess. So we're joining you today virtually from the American Indian Center prior to the unveiling of the land acknowledgement within the center space. Keith, I've asked Keith to join me here because he played an instrumental part in the creation of the land acknowledgement. Keith's contacts, the people that he knew, his ability to connect with folks and guide the process was incredibly important. And I think that we worked as a really good team as we worked through the process, and we want to share a little bit about that process with you. Keith, do you want to share, I think, maybe initial steps when we decided that this was something that we wanted to do?
Sure. So at the beginning, Stacy and I visited about it and came upon the decision to not only have us write it, but have people, experts in American Indian culture, assist us in writing it. So that's how the process began. We began visiting with different cultural experts in North Dakota and Minnesota to see how we could best write this statement and write it in a way that would be respectful of American Indians.
I think it was super important. Keith's initial contact that really, I think, started us out on this path it was tremendous visiting with her, Leslie Peltier. We were talking about the land acknowledgement and what that process would be, and we knew that we needed to learn through the process. I specifically needed to learn through the process, and Keith was able to connect us with Leslie Peltier. And we went to Turtle Mountain and set up a meeting with Leslie through Keith's relationships there. And it was amazing. We sat and we visited with her and learned so much. I learned so much that day about the history of the land here, about the history of the land throughout North Dakota and western Minnesota. Leslie provided significant information. And Keith, you know a little bit more about Leslie's background. Maybe you could share some of that.
Leslie Peltier is a social science and Chippewa history instructor at Turtle Mountain Community College. She is very knowledgeable in the history of the Chippewa and even the Lakota people, the original inhabitants of not only North America and North Dakota, but also the land that UND resides on. And so we thought it would be it was important to get insight from Leslie to help us to celebrate the land that UND resides on.
Yeah, it was so valuable, because I think about prior to this work that we did with the land acknowledgement, I had not that long ago finished up a dissertation where I was looking at the history and the founding of the University of North Dakota. And I read a lot of the books that really talked about this place beginning in 1883, but not really talking about what came before. And as I sat with Leslie, she talked about dates and events and spaces and places. And I realized that it was just very shortly before that this land was occupied and cared for, and it was not acknowledged in any of the work that I was looking at. And so I thought it was incredibly important. We finished up that visit, and I left with a lot of notes. I had taken a lot of notes and a lot of information that Leslie had shared. She shared with us treaties, copies of the treaties, and locations to where the treaties were signed. And following that visit, I did a visit of my own to Old Crossing Treaty, and looked at the space in the land and looked at it in the way that Leslie had shared things. So as she talked about where different groups were for the signing, I sat there and looked at those spaces, and it was incredibly powerful. And from Leslie, we started to write, we started to draft, and we did a lot of drafting. And then once we had a shell or a framework, we really started to pull in other people, to have them read, to have them provide feedback. And we made sure that we were going to a number of individuals. So from contacts that we would get with Keith, to other contacts that people would say, hey, why don't you check with this person? Or why don't you reach out to someone from this tribe? Or why don't you ask someone here? And so we did that, and we worked with a lot of different individuals. And then once we had the product, the acknowledgement, the statement, in a place where we felt like we were ready to move forward, we started to work with individuals on this campus to move it forward. And so we worked with, we brought it to Student Senate first, and they passed and approved the acknowledgement without any questions or anything. It was wonderful. We talked a little bit about the process, and they passed it, and or endorsed it. And so then we went to Staff Senate, and same thing. Staff Senate endorsed the land acknowledgement, and then we went to University Senate, and University Senate endorsed the acknowledgement. And it was great. It was really exciting. We'd go to a new place and people would hear it and they would listen to it, and then they would offer their full endorsement of it. And so it was, and every time we read it, I think we would say that it gave us goosebumps. We would sit in my office and we would read it one more time, and we would maybe switch a word out here, or switch a word out there, and there was a group of us that would do it, and I think goosebumps every time I would read it, and it was just really, really an exciting process.
Our administration thought it was very important to meet with different people employed at the university, such as Student Senate and Staff Senate, as well as American Indian professionals on campus, to share what we were doing. We didn't want the acknowledgement statement to be a surprise for everyone. We wanted everyone to know what we were doing, and we wanted to show that we really care about American Indians, not only on this campus, but in North Dakota. And so that was the process. It was a very long process. In the end, the president formally acknowledged the statement as an official statement for the University of North Dakota. And we thought that was significant because we are the first four-year college, our university in North Dakota, to have an official land acknowledgement statement supported by UND administration.
And it was great, and I think you make a great point. We wanted to make sure that folks supported it as it went through the process, and so while Keith said it was a long process, it was, and I think though it was important that that process was allowed to take the time that it needed in order to be endorsed and to be supported by this larger campus community. And so it was really, it was a blessing, I think, that it was able to be the long process that it was. And as Keith said, Interim President Josh Wynn had signed off on it and supported it, and it became official. And then under President Andy Armacost, he helped us to launch that statement, and today we're unveiling it, like I said, in the American Indian Center on Indigenous Peoples Day.
Today, the University of North Dakota rests on the ancestral lands of the Pembina and Red Lake bands of Ojibwe and the Dakota Oyate, presently existing as composite parts of the Red Lake, Turtle Mountain, White Earth bands, and the Dakota tribes of Minnesota and North Dakota. We acknowledge the people who resided here for generations and recognize that the spirit of the Ojibwe and Oyate people permeates this land. As a university community, we will continue to build upon our relations with the First Nations of the state of North Dakota, the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate Nation, Spirit Lake Nation, Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians.
Thank you, President Armacost. The University Land Acknowledgement was developed through the expertise of many cultural leaders, experts, and elders. The Land Acknowledgement would not have been made possible without the support and knowledge of these individuals. Unfortunately, due to COVID and restrictions that limit the number of people that we can have in this space, we want to acknowledge these folks from a distance. I'm going to read through their names, their tribal affiliation, and the role that they played through their work with the Land Acknowledgement. Barb Anderson, Program Coordinator, Recruitment and Retention of American Indians into Nursing, member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Cynthia Joy Azure, Cultural Instructor, Turtle Mountain Community College, member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Deb Wilson, Director of Recruitment and Retention of American Indians into Nursing, member of the Mandan, Hidatsa, Arikara Nation. Dr. Donald Warren, Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Director of Indians into Medicine, Director of the Master of Public Health Program, and member of the Oglala Lakota Sioux Tribe. Cade Ferris, Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians, Tribal Historic Preservation Officer and Tribal Archaeologist, member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Kara Anderson, prospective student academic advisor, recruitment of American Indians into nursing, member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians.
We also want to recognize Leslie Peltier. She is a social science and Indian studies professor at Turtle Mountain Community College, also a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Michael Peters, a member of the Sisseton Wapton Oyate Nation. Richard Laframboise, a cultural teacher and also a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Tyson Janot, a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Myself, a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. And I want to let Kathleen introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Fredericks. I serve as college coordinator with the Indians into Medicine program, and I'm an enrolled member of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Rikuran Nation. It is an honor to be part of this valuable, great project.
I'd like to thank Kathleen for being with us and for her help throughout the process. And I'd also like to thank again all of those individuals whose names we just read. This process would not have happened without your support and without your engagement throughout it. I'd also like to thank the University of North Dakota for supporting this process. It's important, it's valuable, and I think that, as you can see, it's impactful. Thank you.